You're listening to a Star Wars Commonwealth podcast presented by TumblingSaber and the Nerd Room. For more from the Star Wars Commonwealth, hit the web at starwarscommonwealth.com and take your first steps into a larger world. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new podcast. This is something that myself, Troy, Sanjay, and the boys over at TumblingSaber have been teasing a little bit over the past few weeks, and we're finally here to record the very first episode of what we're calling the Commonwealth Comics and Collecting Podcast. And joining me tonight is my dude, Troy, from the Nerd Room, my boys,
What's
Kyle.
What's up?
And Carlos from the TumblingSaber. Gentlemen, what's going on?
What is happening, Nerd Room?
Yes, welcome. And this, like I said, it's a kind of a combined effort here. We kind of cooked this up in the background, and we wanted to do some sort of crossover between the two podcasts. We're all big collectors, and we're all comic book readers, and we wanted a way to have a little bit more time than our normal This Weekend Nerd and collecting updates that we do on our main shows. And this is kind of the forum we're going to use to do that. And we're going to have a bit of a rotating cast as we go through this podcast. Once in a while, our dude Corey will show up. Sanjay may pop by. A few of the other guys from the TumblingSaber podcast may join us once in a while too. But this is more of a kind of an open round table discussion about comics and collecting. And we're going to try to release this quarterly, once every 3 months or so. It's going to drop both in the Nerd Room feed, one month or one release, and then the TumblingSaber feed the next release. So we're going to kind of mix it all up here, get you guys listen to a little bit of what we're doing and how, what, and why we collect. But to begin with here, I think what we're going to do, we're just do a quick round table, introduce ourselves a little bit, and kind of just give a brief description on your main focus, and then we're going to jump really into the details in this very first episode of why we personally collect, what we collect, and how we actually collect. So first things first, I'm going to chuck it over to you, Kyle. Give a little introduction and tell us what you collect.
Well, I think there's a lot of crossover in our shows, so hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this. As I say on our podcast a lot, like I'm trying to sort of focus my collecting these days because I'm just so all over the place, and it's almost like on the podcast I'm trying to talk myself through it, and I'm failing horribly. Horribly. I used to be, growing up, we were all 3 3/4 kids, and even when The Force Awakens came out, that kind of continued for me. And then I sort of started dabbling in the Black Series, and I had divided my focus that way. But now I'm sort of trying to figure out, where do I want to continue this? And, so I look at things like, well, obviously pricing for things. And at $30 a pop, I'm like, these Black Series are killing me. They're so tough. And then there's exclusives, and you just got to have them. And those go for 60 and 70. Bang, you just want to blow your head off. But it's tough. So this week, I was actually floating through my local Walmart, which never has anything. And there they had some of the new Solo figures.
Oh, first sighting in Canada. Jeez.
It's got to be among the first. Wow. And so I snagged a 3 3/4 Kira and a Chewie, my boy. So nice. I don't know. And then last month, my brother and I, we attended a small convention in a small town about an hour from here. And I just got bit by another bug, which was vintage comics.
Welcome.
Oh boy. And it's not, I'm no stranger to it. Like I've got under my bed here, I've got boxes and boxes of comics, some of them dating back to the 80s and 70s. But this was different. Like I was hanging out with this guy who's he had a huge section. And I just started going through his stuff, and he had a great sale. And I guess we can come back to this later. I'll let someone else take the reins here. But yeah, I had a bit of a field day, and I've been teasing that a little bit. Tim, I showed you a little sneak peek picture via DM a few weeks ago. So we'll come back to that. But all this to say, my collecting habits are a mess.
I think all four of us can probably align with that one. Now, Troy,
Yeah, man.
A lot of people have heard what you collect on the Nerd Room here, but let's hear what you're doing lately, what you're stepping into. You've got a big new collecting focus coming up here, and what you've done a bit in the past.
Yeah, man, it's just been trying to narrow it down. Like Kyle mentioned, it's all about focusing, and you got me, obviously, Tim Hard, into collecting since 2014. Like, geez, and $30 a pop when it comes to the Marvel Legends, $30 a pop when it comes to the Black Series, and then all the little things in between. So it gets hectic. But lately, like I've been mentioning since the beginning of this year, I've been trying to cut out the Marvel Legends. I haven't been doing so well, but I'm really trying to cut those guys down and focus on the Hot Toys. I'm starting the Hot Toys collection starting, I think, July or June. Anakin comes in. So I'll be my first Hot Toys, and I'm super excited for that venture. And then I'll probably pick up, Obi-Wan Kenobi next. I think it's the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi they announced, and then I'll get my hands on a Vader. But man, it's really trying to cut out those Marvel Legends, but they keep hitting us with these cool figures, and Hasbro stepped their game up. Hats off to them, because these face sculpts are just looking better and better from the Black Series and the Marvel Legends. So man, it's tough out there.
Yeah, it is. That focus is the key thing, I think, with most collectors is just trying to find a way to take the small amount of money, or large amount in some cases, and focus that down to something that won't make your room look cluttered, and it's something that actually means something and looks good. You can get all kinds of little crap, but what you need to do is look at and focus down. That's also what I've been trying to do. Carlos, have you had any success lately? I know you're doing Legos big time, but have you been able to kind of narrow that focus down a little?
Short answer is no. I never thought of myself as a collector, but a friend of mine came over and was like, "Wow, that's a big DVD collection." And in my head, I'm like, yeah, but I don't collect DVDs, do I? And then I start realizing, the more and more I go through some of my stuff, the more I realize that I do collect, but I'm not like a one category A to Z collector. I focus on the things that I like individually. So Lego, it's a main focus for me, but it's also for my kids. And I have 3 boys, 11, 9, and 6, and they love the Lego. And it's easy to just buy whatever comes out that's new from Star Wars Lego, and that's it. And then when I think of specific characters that I like Krennic, and I like Poe, and so I try to get a Funko or 2 from each character, and then try to get the 6-inch and the 3 3/4. So, but I don't go all in on all the 3 3/4 or all the 6-inch. It's really more of a focus thing. But I see how easily it can get out of control. And anytime you do a podcast with Chop Rules with a Z, you know exactly what it looks like to lose control.
Yeah, he's walked that dark path. It's funny because everyone has slightly different interests here, and we all have one common theme, though. One common goal is that's to focus our collection a bit, because we do recognize that it is very easy to walk down that dark path of whether it's completism, whether it's Funko Pops, anything like that, with a very expansive and extensive collecting.
Bankruptcy.
Yes, exactly. Bankruptcy. There you go. And myself, I've really taken this to heart in the last year, because 2015 was an absolutely mental year for me for collecting. That's probably when I stepped back into it fully. I've always been a collector since I was very, very young, and Star Wars really hit me probably in the late 90s, right around the Power of the Force 2 release. And it kind of ebbed and flowed all through my life. But 2015, with the release of The Force Awakens and the release of Avengers Age of Ultron, that was the year where I probably spent the most money I have ever spent on collectibles. And Black Series was in a big way. The Marvel Legends were in a big way. We saw the Elite Series coming out for the first time. I jumped back into 3 3/4 inch. That was when I started collecting Funko Pops. That's when I got back into Lego. So it's been an intense few years for me. And this year has been really about finding a particular character focus or style of focus. I've really pushed the brakes on Funko Pops. The Black Series I'm still into. And with the Marvel Legends, I've really kind of dwindled that down to just purely the MCU figures. So that doesn't sound focused, but it is focused for me. I can honestly say my wife appreciates it too. Our wallets appreciate it a little bit as well. But I think that's the key, though, is when you look around your room, you don't want it to be this cluttery mess. You don't want to see a bunch of stuff that I shouldn't have really have bought in that. Because for me, and I want to hear this from you guys, one of the key things I look for in a collectible is, getting out of the hunt's a lot of fun. But for me, it's having a connection to each piece that's in your room. Like the majority of the pieces I have in here, I can tell you who bought them for me, where I was when I bought them, who, like, at what point in my life, what excited me about this. And to me, that means more. It's a very personal collection, I find, for me. Do you guys find yourselves kind of connecting to collecting in the same way? Or are you kind of just doing it because it's kind of a pastime, it's a hobby? Carlos, what are your thoughts?
Well, for me, it started off as a hobby, just from listening pretty much to this podcast and TumblingSaber. Just hearing about all the cool figures and all that stuff, and seeing that I already had Lego coming in through the door quite regularly, it kind of made sense to get a Funko Pop of this character or a 3 3/4 of that character, and and then we started actually helping each other out. I was at a Toys R Us near my house, and I contacted Kyle, and he's like, "If you got the Leia there, get it." Then I sifted through the 13 or 14 different Leias to get the sweetest box available.
Mint.
Try as much as possible, and so we help each other out, and that's how it kind of started. It was just now I have a pretty sweet post shrine.
Nice.
Hopefully everything's still intact, and I'll be able to drop some videos about that shortly. But
nice.
Yeah, that's the goal right now, is just to maybe expand a little bit on the specific shrines that we got going on, because that, when you install a shelf in your living room or your nerd room or your bedroom, depending on whether or not the wife lets you do that type of stuff, you kind of want to have like a theme going on, like it just so that it doesn't need to look cluttered. It's just like nicely laid out, like a nice X-wing, with a couple of poles in the background. It looks really cool. So I'm looking really I'm actually moving in a couple of months, and I can't wait to get to decorating that place with my toys.
Nice.
Kyle, tell me a little bit about how you personally collect or connect to your collection. Or if you do.
I definitely do. A lot of the things that are given to me as gifts, I definitely have more of an attachment to. Things that I sort of bought when I was, still the completist. So I have boxes of figures from Revenge of the Sith, and you have like the little Polis Massa, little medical worker there.
Yeah.
There's no attachment to that figure. I was just on autopilot in those days. Star Wars figure, buy. But if somebody's given me something as a gift, chances are it's pretty sweet, and I definitely remember who's bought it for me. So I'll show you guys this right here. Well, this won't help the viewers or the listeners, but this right here,
beauty.
It's a Wolverine. Oh. It's a Wolverine #1 with that Corey gave to me actually, and it's got a Jeff Isherwood sketch on it.
Oh man, is that the Marvel Now?
This is Marvel Now, correct?
Oh man, awesome.
So that's pretty sweet. So so I obviously have a very deep connection to that. Something like my X-wing Luke, 40th anniversary, which I won from TSW. Definitely have a connection to that.
So does your brother. Pseudo connection.
Yeah, he wishes. Corey, like I have a vintage Lando in his skiff guard. My wife bought me that for my birthday, I think, a few years ago. Definitely have a connection to that. But things that I've picked up on my own here and there, those connections come and go. Like I can definitely say that my Black Series collection, which now I guess numbers maybe somewhere in the 20s, is some figures are cool. Some I'm just like, why did I buy that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes I've been going through my collection recently as I've been setting up the new nerd room here. I moved in December. I've been slowly cobbling it together here. And I've taken a lot of stuff actually and set it aside either to donate or to eventually kind of amalgamate into some kind of giveaway to whether it's kind of a local sick kids or something like that, of little pieces that I have that I look and I'm like, I really don't need this, or I don't have a place for this in my room. And I want to give it to someone that will get some fun out of it. Like my daughter's been taking a lot of the older Funko Pops too that I have and kind of playing with them, some of the ones I don't want. So I like passing on that stuff. I used to be very protective of all of that, and now I'm looking more to pass it on to someone else and let them use it and keep the things that have meaning to me around here, and things that look nice and fit in a room. So again, like, it doesn't look cluttered or kind of like you've just got a whole bunch of stuff thrown on a shelf. So I agree with you. It's sometimes you get a bunch of stuff, you look at it, why do I have this? Why do I own this? I don't need this. So sometimes it's okay to part with pieces that you've collected. And I think that's an important part of collecting, is coming down to this idea of focusing. It's okay to give things away or to do something different. And your collection, at least mine, has evolved quite a bit over the last few years, and I appreciate my collection more and more as I've kind of narrowed that focus. But Troy, let's hear a bit about your collection and some of the pieces that you find some connection to.
Yeah, well, I guess the ones I don't really connect with right off the bat are some of the Build-A-Figures. Marvel Legend gets you with some of these throwaway characters that you need just to complete like this Build-A-Figure wave. Right off the bat, I have to think of like I think it's the Thor Ragnarok line. It's a young Thor. It's probably one of my least figures I have in my nerd room there. But, you get it to complete the Hulk, but I didn't end up completing that wave anyway. So I do have a couple of those kind of figures. The Beetle. There's just some weird characters out there that I don't want to look twice at. But it's always, like Carlos mentioned, I have like my themes, like the Vader Shrine or my Spidey Shrine. Like those are my two that I love and I always want to add towards. The ones I really connect with though is the custom figures, like my Anakin's. Like Anakin's my guy. So when I look at those, I can always look at the pieces and all the other characters I use to make that one figure, which is pretty fun. And that's what I'm always looking for, right? Is when I look at these new characters or figures that come out, I'm always looking at what arm or what leg or what glove or whatever I could use to make something else. So that's kind of fun. And it's always been lately now posing figures, because before, when I first started collecting these things, I always kept them in the box. But now with these Marvel Legends that aren't like MC related, I know, Tim, you're like reverse of me, but with the comic characters, I like taking them out of the box now and really just posing them up, much like your shelf back there, which is just, it's awesome. It's really fun with these well articulated figures just to, bust out some cool epic poses. So those are the shiny moments, I'd say, when it comes to collecting for me as of late.
Nice. Now, a lot of collectors, they have a tendency to collect a certain way. Whether that's mint in box, whether that's pulling them out, whether that's customizing. I want to hear a little bit about what you guys and how you guys collect. Are you mint in box collectors? Do you do kind of the posing like Troy does? Do you have the shrines? I know, Carlos, you're big into Poe. That's your character focus. But are you keeping things in box? What are you doing with that?
So far, the Lego's all undone, obviously, and but everything else I try to keep in box. Not because I just don't want to lose the accessories. I think that's the most important thing, and or else I'm not really, the box. If it's dinged up, yeah, it'll hurt a little. I like it to look good, but it's mainly for the display factor. It's not for any type of like resale value or anything of that nature.
Yeah. Kyle, you mint in box? What are you doing with your collectibles these days?
Typically, I keep my stuff in box. Some things I will open, but 90% of the time I will just leave it in the box.
Yeah.
Which it makes things easier when you have little kids in the house that want what's in the box. If you just tell them, Daddy's leaving that in the box, and they just don't get it. They cannot fathom why you would buy a toy and then leave it in the box. It makes them mental. So most of my stuff is sort of hidden away. They don't see too much of it. But little things like Star Wars, those little Hot Wheels, like the die-cast ships, not necessarily the cars, although I do have a few of those, but like the little ships, I open those.
Yeah.
And so I put those on a shelf, and the kids will come and grab those. Even like the little tiny Black Series vehicles, I crack those open. I have no problem opening those up, and if the kids want to have at it, like, I don't care. Like, they can do whatever they want. Bring them in the bath. I don't care.
Nice.
But yeah, usually mint in box.
It's funny you say that about kids, because my room down here, the nerd room I have, it's quite accessible to my daughter. Her playroom is just on the other side of the door. And her and I have this really cool understanding. So she actually calls it the nerd room. She knows that it's Dad's room. And we've said to each other, we said, okay, I had my Mufasa moment with her. And I said, look, everything the light touches will be yours one day, but you have to wait until Daddy gives it to you. And she understands and she won't touch anything, and she's super protective of it. We had a babysitter over today because my wife left about halfway through the day to go on a trip, and the babysitter came in or just closed the door, and she came running over and was like, no, you can't go in there, you can't go in there. And then I come home, and she ratted out the babysitter for touching the door. She's like, Daddy, she touched the door to the nerd room. And I was like, no, it's okay. So she's quite understanding, but I am dreading that day. She's 3.5. I'm dreading that day that I'll come home when she's 5, and she's cracked open half of my Black Series. And, she's like, Daddy, look. Like, I'm anticipating that day to happen to try to relieve some of that stress of when it actually does. But yeah, it kind of freaks me out a bit because I'm a mint in box collector when it comes to Star Wars. Everything, with the exception of my vintage collection, is all mint in box. Everything from the Funkos to the Black Series to the 3 3/4 inch, everything's pristine. I don't know why. That's the way I like it. The Elite Series, I'm kind of walking this weird fine line. I've pulled some of those out of the box, the die casts, because they look more like statues. So I really enjoy having them out. They're the only Star Wars thing I've opened in the last probably like 5-6 years. And my wife, when I did it, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I feel like it's time. But
sorry, Tim, I have like the Chewie with the Porgs, as you know.
Yes. That was a great present. I don't know who got that.
It really
for
was.
You, but it was a good
one. It really, really was. As I call it, it's 2 Porgs with the big, tall, furry guy.
Yeah.
The 2 little, half-inch tall Porgs, the kids adore those things. It's like, stop! Just put them back!
Don't touch. I absolutely love that. It is, you're like you said, Kyle, it's very hard to convey to them that, no, this stays in the box. You can't rip this open. So he's got to kind of focus her on some other thing in here. Troy, I know you got a little one too, man. So do you have the same problem? You're a mint and box collector for some things, not all. But how's your collection work?
Well, I guess what I do for my daughters, because I did give up on the Diamond Select Marvel wave going on before, the Disney Store exclusives. So there's a couple of those that I had that are extra. I let my daughter open those up, and she just has a field day with like Spidey, and I think she has a cap that she plays around with. I have some DC figures as well that I used to collect that I gave up on, so she opens those up. So that kind of keeps her away from some of those other things. And I got her a basketball the other day, so that keeps her entertained downstairs. But so like I mentioned before, I'm 50-50 with most stuff. Pretty much all my Star Wars stuff as well stays in box. And if I want to like really have like a cool pose, I'll double up and I'll get another one. Like I got a couple of Kylo Rens just because I think that Last Jedi Kylo Ren is so cool looking. So I took that guy out and I threw on like a Force Awakens Kylo Ren head and gave him like a cool pose, and I was done with it. But I still kept the other 2 in the boxes. That's kind of how I get away with that. It's kind of a little more expensive, but I don't know. I really like the Black Series in the box, so that's kind of how I do it. And then, like I mentioned before, the comic characters, not the MCU, but the comic characters, I take those guys out for the most part. And then I like the villain Build-A-Figures. I always like to have those guys kind of up in a corner and pose those guys up because they're pretty cool. But there's not too many Build-A-Figures in the future that I see that I'm going to go after anyways. So I might be done with that for now. Yeah.
Nice. Now, do you guys follow any sort of weird rules? Like, I'll give you an example here. Here in the Nerd Room, we have a couple of collecting rules. One is the $35 Star Wars rule. You never buy a Black Series figure that's over $35 because you can guarantee anything over that is going to sit on the shelf, it's going to peg warm, and they'll eventually drop it to about that $35 range. So Troy and I, we really go after that because you can get sucked in to buying ridiculous things for ridiculous money. I myself am a culprit, and I have fallen victim to that. I bought the massive TIE Fighter stupidly for $150 when it first dropped. And I know a lot of people that have got that for a lot less. And that was the one I got burned on. I also got burned on the first release of Boba Fett. This is the orange carded Black Series Boba Fett. I paid like 2 or 3 times the price of it, and then I found it at retail like 2 days later. I was so gutted. I tried to take it back. It was a local comic book shop, and they said, "Sorry, dude, man, that one's final sale." So that's where that rule came from, that $35 rule. Do you guys kind of fall into that, guys? TumblingSaber dudes, Kyle, Carlos, do you guys kind of, even with Lego, do you always pay full price? Do you try to wait till they do those random 30% off? Like, how do you actually attack this from more of a financial perspective?
Well, it's not really a rule. It's just for me, I tend to wait on a lot of things. So when the 40th anniversary came out for Star Wars, the first thing I saw was Vader with the diorama. And I was at Toys R Us, I believe, and it was $79.99, and I nearly dropped dead. I was absolutely shocked that they would have the gall to charge that much money for that. Because when you think about it, they were charging $50 for a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, crazy.
What idiot would pay that? This guy. Unfortunately.
So I waited and I waited and I waited and I got it for literally half the price. And I could have even got it for less if I had waited longer. But I figured $40, I can justify this. So I have this. It's Toys R Us exclusive Jedi Training Rey, which comes with a couple pieces of, props and crate stuff.
Cool.
It's a nice figure. Originally, I think it retailed for I don't even know, but it was I want to say like $69.
I think it's 59 or 69 Canadian. Yeah.
I got it for 20 about a month ago.
Yeah.
So I feel like for a lot of these things, if you just wait, it'll drop.
Yeah. The only hard to find figures would be the ones that are short packed in a case that are normally priced. So less than $35. Even those exclusives at Toys R Us. I know Corey got burned on this. He bought that Commander Gree for like $40 at Toys R Us, and they're a peg warmer now. You can get them for like $20. So it's anything over. Those exclusives are always $6-7 more. Wait on all of them.
That has almost become a rule for me now. Like, so we talk about focus and reining things in. With not that I've even seen a single Black Series figure from the Solo line in my territory, like zero, not one. But even when I do, I'm not going to buy it. I know how great they look. All of them look fantastic, and I want them all quite badly. But I'm going to wait because I know they're going to drop to from $29.99 plus tax. So that's in Quebec we get completely reamed over taxes.
Yeah, you do.
Oh goodness, we get just destroyed with taxes. And I'll wait because I know at some point they're going to drop to like $19.99.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except for
maybe even less.
Maybe that Range Trooper. That's the only one I think that may or may not, but I think it's double packed, so you'll probably see them quite flush in the shelves.
If they ever hit the shelves here.
True.
I really don't know what they're waiting for. I guess they're still stacked with the Last Jedi stuff, but it's been really frustrating.
Yeah, it has. Carlos, what are your thoughts on Lego? How do you tack your Lego collecting from more of the financial side of things?
So there's no rhyme or reason. It's usually going to go with what do I want now? What do I want right now? With what's my budget? Is Toys R Us giving the 20 or 30% off? And do I have enough Lego VIP points to make a big dent in the purchase that I want? So there's it. I don't for the Solo run. I really wanted to get the Millennium Falcon, the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon. I just couldn't justify that, but I did get Solo's Speeder and Yoda's Hut, which were things that I was going to get anyways. I wasn't going to get the TIE Fighter because I had one previously, and it's already overpriced for the piece count. Although apparently it's one of the best TIE Fighters, along with the one from The Force Awakens. So that's pretty much what drives me is what's on the shelves, what do I want. Is it on sale at Toys R Us? And do I have enough VIP Lego points to make a huge dent, or maybe try to double up on some packs and get double points like I did recently? Nice. So I'm in good shape with the Lego points, and it makes a big difference when you're able to take $30-$40 off any purchase. That's a big chunk of change.
Yeah, especially in that $200 range. You can knock $40-$50 off that. That becomes something you can digest a little better.
Yeah, exactly. So for Poe's X-Wing, I got a really good deal on it. I had to wait for it to come back in stock, and I was searching everywhere for it. And now they're on the shelves. They're just waiting, right? Like anywhere you go, you could find Poe's X-Wing. So the thing is you want to look also to see what's going to be out of stock or retired soon.
Yeah, that's the key to
retirement.
Also
something. Yeah, that's the thing that I try to look at more now, because I really wanted that Resistance X-Wing from The Force Awakens with the Lor San Tekka and
the gray and blue one.
Yeah, the casually dressed Poe.
Yeah.
And and I missed out on that one, and I tried to get it a couple of times on eBay, and I missed out on that one. So, but we are getting another X-wing if we want to run about and talk about that later. But yeah, it's cool. So I usually go for like the ships.
Yeah.
My kids like the battle scenes or the specific movie scenes. So there's 3 kids, so that's 3 birthdays and 3 Christmas gifts. And if they're good in school, that's another one. So I always come around to honestly, over the last 2 years, there's not many sets that I've passed over.
Nice. The nice thing about Lego and collecting Lego, because I just do purely the ships, is that you don't really ever have to worry too much about actually getting your hands on them. Now, there's a few once in a while that they're coming close to retirement, or some of the hotter ones like the X-Wings and that, or some that are more limited shipped that you do have to worry. But I never panic on Lego, especially when we're getting the new drops, because we've got a Lego store locally here. The Walmarts, Toys R Us, usually pretty flush with Legos. And I usually wait for a little bit of a discount on some of the bigger sets, particularly like the Falcon. I'm waiting for that one to go down 20-30% because I need to have that one. But that's the one thing about Lego that I really like in just collecting. And sometimes I'll have a box that sits here for 3-4 months before I actually build it. It's one of those things that I'll pop on a film when I have a whole night to myself. I'll throw out the Lego and I'll just kind of build well into the night. So that's kind of like my peaceful time. I really, really enjoy that about Legos. I find it's probably my least, or I don't get the anxiety that I do. I call it the plastic anxiety. I don't get that with Lego. Now, Troy, you conform to this $35 rule that we've kind of constructed. Do you have any other kind of ways you attack collecting from kind of that ease in the wallet kind of perspective?
No, man, I'm always about the long game, and I just have that major character focus too, which helps out. But like Kyle, I remember I picked up the Vader. I think it was at Walmart, and he was $59.99, and he's in my bag, and I was ready to go, and I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't drop $59 on cardboard. So I put that guy back, and I think it was Walmart or maybe it's EB Games. He was down to 30. It was Walmart, and he was down to, I think, $40 when I first purchased them. And I was like, whoa, this is huge. This is way better. And then I took that Vader, and then I started seeing people, replace that packaging with like a Luke Skywalker, and it would just sit on the shelves forever. And then I saw Vader. I saw Vader again at EB Games, and he was down to $20 or $19.99. Yeah. So I think I got like 3 of those Vaders just because the price was so good. So I guess I ended up giving them the amount of money for the original anyways, just because I bought so many of them. And then they repackaged them anyways with the regular Black Series. I think he's number 40 or something like that in the box. Right. So another one was the Starkiller Base Ray that came out with Starkiller Base Kylo Ren. From Force Awakens. I think that thing was like $39 American, and I got it at EB Games for $12. So you can't go wrong there, for stuff like that. As well as the Star Wars Infinity. Kyle, I know you're kind of familiar with the Infinity video game and the figures.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so I picked up that whole game, Ahsoka and Anakin, for I think $19 at Walmart when they went on clearance because they canceled that game. So that's when I started getting into a little bit of the Infinity characters there. So always about the long game, just wait it out as much as I can.
Yeah, I found that pack for $7.
Wow, that whole pack, the game pack?
The one with Anakin and Ahsoka?
Yeah, that's
$7, man. Maybe it was 10, but it was. I remember because once they started blowing those out, I started keeping my eyes on them, and I kept running into the Rebels crew, which are cool, but not quite my thing. I had my eye. I really wanted the Ahsoka figure. But it was still $30 for the longest time. They dropped it to 20. They dropped it to 15. I said, okay, I'm ready to do it. And then I just let it go. But I went back a couple weeks later, and it was like $7 or $10. And I said, that's awesome. Done deal.
That's amazing.
So good.
I think,
and not to mention like the Disney toy box figures now on shopdisney.com, they're down to $8. They're being blown out at $8, and I really wanted that line.
Wow. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Right, and I never got any of them.
$20 at the Disney store when they first came out?
They are now being liquidated for $8. Wow. That's still US, and you'll probably still have to pay shipping, but it's a lot more palatable now at $8 a figure.
I'll keep an eye out because I'm going over to the Disney store later on tomorrow with the little ones. So I'll see if they're clearing them out of there because they're stacked pretty deep still. We have 3 Disney stores in Calgary.
I've never seen a figure in person.
They're actually
it's the same
nice.
style as the Infinity look, right?
It's
Yeah.
they're very much so.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you catch a Poe at a good price, you know what to do.
Yeah, man, I got my eyes peeled for you. Poe.
Just pick it up, and we'll fix it up.
Awesome. All right, guys. Before we get into a little bit of kind of more of current collecting talk, one thing that I find is quite interesting is asking someone what their favorite collectible is, what their favorite piece is, what do they hold most dearest to their heart. And I find that kind of gives a little bit more insight into the collector themselves. So I want to throw that question to each one of you guys. I'm going to go with you first, Kyle. What is your favorite collectible, that collectible that you will never give up?
Wow. That is tough, man. You know, I love my vintage figures. They are in absolute crap condition, but I love them. Geez. I have actually, you know, in the window from say 2000 to 2005, I have a few San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figures. I've got the New York Toy Fair Darth Vader figure, which
sweet.
is, yeah, it's a great looking figure. I've got, I think, the Darth Vader figure from Celebration 3,
I don't even
if I'm
know
not mistaken.
Like.
Crazy.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
I probably should have got them out to show you guys, but boy oh boy, I love those figures just from a very special time in collecting for me. It was sort of at the tail end of really massive collecting. Geez, I remember the Luke that they gave out for the Return of the Jedi Special Edition. I've got a special place in my heart for that. My vintage Lando Calrissian, unpunched card, man.
Wild.
That's my only vintage figure on card. It's got a special place in my heart. I've got a couple of autograph things. I've got, like, back there on the wall, you can't really see it, but I've got a Carrie Fisher autograph on like my favorite picture of her from the base on Yavin 4.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and geez, I guess I could go on and on, but that's really about it. I guess that would be the big ones. I've got my Trivial Pursuit board, of course, but I don't know if I call that a collectible.
Awesome. Troy, I know you got some big pieces there. You got some incoming pieces. But what's that one collectible that you'll never part with?
It's tough, man. I'm always going to go back to my Anakins. I can't take my hands off those. And I got a signed Wolverine comic book from way back in the 90s. I'll never let go of that guy right there. But oh man, to bring it down to just one figure, it's probably my Anakin Revenge of the Sith look that I went for like a year ago or so.
That's your custom?
Yeah, custom. Love that guy. Love that one.
It's a dope figure.
Cheers. Yeah. Thanks.
Carlos, what's that? Is it Lego? What is it? Is it one of those Poe figures? What's something you're never going to give away, never going to part with?
I think you guys might be surprised. It's more the Krennic's Imperial Shuttle.
Oh, that's a beautiful build.
Oh man, it's amazing. And I got that, I think it was just before Black Friday, and it was at 59 Canadian dollars, and it retails for $119.99.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, solid pickup, and awesome build. You got the Death Troopers in there, and you got Krennic, and you got Bodhi Rook, and K2SO.
Nice.
Yeah, it's stacked. It's one of my favorites. And close would be probably the Poe's X-Wing.
Yeah. I
also love the UCS BB-8, which is pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to be keeping that going forward, but yeah. So I go Krennic 1 and Poe's X-Wing close second of the pieces from Lego that I collect. As far as the other things that I collect, I don't say that I will or will never get rid of something, but maybe my kids will get something later on for their own rooms. But yeah, those two pieces are the main pieces for me.
Nice. I love hearing what people or their favorite collectibles are. For me personally, I've got a few here. I got a long list, but I'm gonna narrow down here to just a couple. I'm not gonna go to one, but I guess if you had to ask me one, it would be my copy of Avengers #1. My wife got it for me for our wedding day. So I got her a nice diamond necklace, and she handed me a copy of Avengers #1 from 1963. Now it's 4.5 grade. It's in a case. it's gorgeous. I love it. I love that it's beat up. I love the look of it. And that is probably my favorite collectible. That'll be the one collectible I will never, it'll go into the grave with me. And when you're looking at action figures and all that, I'm a big vintage collector. I've got about, I think, upwards of 60 of the 90-ish vintage figures. But the two things that I hold near and dear to me from the vintage collection is I've got the Empire Strikes Back. Still, it's kind of a beat up, but still with the cardboard, the collector's case, the big Vader head, where you could kind of pop it open and you put the figures in. That one my dad got me for one Christmas. He's the one that got me into vintage collecting. And that came with, he bought the Vader figure as well, the vintage loose Vader figure. So those are probably two that, again, into the grave with me. And from Lego, it's my AT-AT. It was the first big Star Wars Lego purchase I ever made, and it's my favorite vehicle from Star Wars. And I have it prominently displayed here. It's my favorite Lego. Like all the other Legos, for sure I'm going to keep it for as long as possible. But that AT-AT, it's another one that it's going the distance with me. So those are probably my three big collectibles amongst kind of this giant collection I have here.
I've also got to throw in my vintage Millennium Falcon.
Ooh.
I totally forgot about that. But
oh, man.
I also have to throw in the caveat that every single piece that comes off that thing is off that thing. Like, it's really just the shell. The guts are gone. The chest, everything is gone. Every accessory is done for and gone. The only thing is sort of like the roof at the back. That is still there.
Gives
Otherwise, it's... Yeah, but you know, the 8-year-old me was very upset that I didn't mention that off the top.
Yes, do not lose everything, young Kyle. All right, I think we should talk a little bit. We kind of got to know a bit of the collecting, how we collect, what we collect. Let's talk a bit about present day collecting. What's going on? So we've kind of already expressed this a bit about Solo, and the big question mark that's sitting on where are all the collectibles. I've seen Funko Pops, I've seen the Legos, but for me, I'm not seeing the Black Series. I'm not seeing the 3 3/4 inch. What do you guys see on the pegs, and what's kind of your theory behind the reasoning we haven't seen any Solo merchandise almost anywhere?
My theory is, and I think it's important to state that this applies only to Canada.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I don't go shopping in the U.S. as much as I'd like to. I think the buyers for the different retailers here are just not up to speed at what's going on in that fandom. I think they do their purchasing according to a spreadsheet, and they just have no sense for the pulse of the community and what's really going on. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like they have so much stock from The Last Jedi that they can't justify putting more Solo stuff on the pegs until they sell that stuff. But they're never going to sell that stuff now.
No,
it's over. It's done. So I don't know if we're at some kind of stalemate or if somebody's just going to have to bite the bullet and move things. But yeah, across the country, I think it's a very similar story where people are just going, where is all the stuff? Mm-hmm. Where is it? Like the vintage collection I've barely seen. I've seen a few figures, and
I've not seen it at all.
I'm starting to see it, but the ones I have found, they're banged up like crazy. Mm-hmm. Like nobody would buy it. The only reason to buy those is to have it mint on card.
Yes, and
they are really visibly damaged on the pegs. So it's like those are going to sit there forever. And then people, sell the buyers, the store management, they'll go, people don't buy Star Wars anymore. Look at this. These figures have been here forever. I don't think they understand the nuances in collecting. I really don't think they do.
No, if I have to look at another Jyn Erso or a Captain Cassian Andor swinging from the pegs, I'm going to explode. See, it's been 2 years.
Absolutely. And they're still there.
Yes, they are.
A Toys R Us not far from here had, I want to say like 24 Jyn Erso Black Series, and the equivalent number of Cassian Andors just a couple months ago is absurd.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think you can get them for like $6-7 now. But like you can't even customize them, Troy? Like you can't do anything with those figures that are swinging from the pegs.
No, actually, there's one cool thing I saw with Jyn Erso. You can take her little tunic scarf you have, you can cut off the back, and you can throw it on Jessica Jones, and it works as a scarf. I saw that. That's the only thing I can get out of that character. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I've seen nothing but those characters hang on the shelves. But in the States, like Target had, I got my Solo in Target, and I guess I just missed the big rush because they were picked off the shelf. But then when I went to the Disney store, Disneyland the next day, I guess I just missed Solo as well, because they said they had a whole pack of Solo, but they didn't have Lando. Lando was the character they didn't have. So the States is like eating well, I guess, over there, because here it's a graveyard. It's nothing but Rose, Cassian, and Jyn Erso. Those are the only figures I see. It's crazy.
Now, Carlos, the Lego game's looking still pretty hot. I know you had mentioned before we started recording that there's a whole list of new releases. We've seen the Solo stuff. I've seen it on the pegs. Got my eye on a few of those. What can we look forward to coming next as far as Lego goes?
So Lego actually announced today there's four sets that they're going to be releasing on the August 1st release date. Now, I don't know if it's after August 1st or exactly on August 1st. But the ones that they're talking about are number 75214, Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. It's a Clone Wars reboot.
What?
Yes.
From back in the day. It looks awesome. It's a new Anakin face and hair.
Oh,
welcome to Lego, Troy.
I'm joining you guys now. Jeez,
dude, and it's a $20 US value.
Oh,
so it's going to be like a $25 or $30 in Canada for that. It's awesome value, huge
That's
value.
Sick.
I'm definitely going to pick that one up. The next one is 75220, the Sandcrawler. Now, this is coming off. They actually released the Sandcrawler, a UCS version, a few years ago.
I got that and built it.
And how did you like that?
It was a big build. It's a lot of brown, but I love the build. It's a great piece. It's huge, though. It's heavy.
Yeah. Well, this one's $140, and we don't know what the piece count is as of yet, but it comes with Luke, 2 Jawas, and 3 no-name droids. So already the sharks are circling and saying like why give us such a great deal on the Jedi Starfighter for Anakin and then gouge us with the Sandcrawler? So that's what's going on right now on YouTube with a lot of the brick and Lego YouTubers. Now this one's really cool. This is 75216. We got Snoke's Throne Room.
Oh.
And it's coming in at $70 US, and it has 5 minifigs. So you're getting the Snoke figure, the same one from the Star Destroyer, the First Order Star Destroyer. You're getting a Rey, which is also the same as the one you get in I think it's the AT-AT from The Last Jedi. You're getting a newer Kylo Ren mold. And you're getting 2 Praetorian Guards.
Cool.
So you're getting these 5 awesome minifigs. I don't know the piece count. $70 US probably tells me it's going to be around 600 pieces, 600 to 700 pieces in Canada. And it's like the whole throne room. You're only missing the big red velvet curtain to cover the windows.
Anything with Snoke, I wait for the half off sale.
Yeah. Good call.
Come on.
Good call.
And of the last of the 4 that they announced today is 75218. It's an X-Wing starfighter. It looks like it's the Red 5, but I don't think it's written on the box that it's Red 5. $80 price point. It's a great looking X-Wing.
Is it as big as the Poe and the?
Yes, it's around the same piece count, and it's as let's say not bulky, but it's not as flimsy as it once was in the past. I think the last time they released a Red 5 that wasn't a UCS was 2012. So
nice. I might have to get into that.
Yeah,
one.
It's pretty cool. So you're getting a Luke and an R2D2, and you're getting another Rebel pilot, which could be Biggs or Wedge, not sure yet, and another gray droid. So those are the 4 that Lego announced, and there were 3 other ones that were leaked. So 75203, and this one's really cool. You got it's the Hoth Medical Bay. So at $30, you're getting Luke and Leia. Luke in his little short shorts when he's in the back of the tank. You're getting the back of the tank included. So for $30 US, you're talking about probably 40 Canadian. And for me, that's a great like play set, especially for anybody who's like ever tried to mock a Hoth build. like this is great for the interior of that of the base.
Well, there's that big
which is
UCS
really cool.
Hoth set that came out 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Ooh, that was
yeah,
something.
that was a play set,
Yeah.
and I passed hard on that
Yeah,
one.
not
it
for me.
wasn't wasn't good enough for me. So we got another one. We got a 75221, the Imperial Landing Craft. This is also another remake from the first from that first wave. It's coming in at $90. You're getting 2 Tatooine Sand Troopers, Old Ben, an Imperial officer, and another R2D2.
Huh.
The ship itself is really cool. I wish we could show the people listening what it looks like, but just just go to the Google or the YouTube. 75221 Imperial Landing Craft, and it kind of has a little shuttle Tidarium look to it, but it's a little bulkier on the sides and has extra wings on the back. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
And finally, you got the 75213, the Advent calendar, which we get every year, and it's always overpriced. I think it's $35 to $40 like close to 50 Canadian.
Yeah.
So my suggestion for that is go with the Millennium Falcon gingerbread house for $15 instead.
Nice.
That's my my rundown for what's coming the second half of 2018. But that does not include another UCS set. And the rumors for the new UCS set is a Bespin Cloud City.
A playset.
A playset, yeah.
Nice. No, and for those that don't know, UCS is Ultimate Collector Series, and they're usually a really high piece count, quite expensive. They just released that Falcon, which was, how many pieces is that?
7,500 pieces, I believe.
Incredible. Close to $1,000 Canadian. Man,
yeah,
it was something else. Like you can see it displayed in the Lego stores. Oh, it's huge. I don't even know where you'd put it, but it's gorgeous.
Have you seen any home pictures of it? It's displayed in anybody's house, like a regular person. No, I wonder how you display that.
A big IKEA coffee table. I've seen it done, and
really?
I contemplated it, but no, it wasn't in the cards. And there's also the UCS Y-wing that just came out about a month ago.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that's like a 1,900 piece count as well. But considering I already have the Y-wing, it wasn't urgent for me to jump on that one.
Brilliant.
Does Marvel do anything this big with their Lego sets, or DC? Was Star Wars the biggest when it comes to Lego?
The biggest they got, and I got it built behind me, is the what do you call it? Helicarrier from Avengers #1. That's the only UCS they've ever done, and they usually do mostly playsets. They don't have, with the exception of maybe Guardians and a Quinjet, they don't really have that depth of vehicles. And I'm not a huge fan of playsets because I find they don't display too well. My daughter's still a little young. She plays with some of the playsets I have. She kind of got a Lego box for herself, and I just keep the ships. So yeah, Marvel's a bit more difficult. I did get into minifig collecting at one point in Marvel, and that led me down a dark path. That's why I stopped that. Because you can't get every minifigure in a set unless you buy every single set.
Yeah.
So it's a bit difficult. But anyways, guys, I think we're kind of pushing up here close to an hour of recording time. But what I want to do here, lastly on the round table, is I want to give everyone a chance to explain a bit about what they're chasing in the near term. What are you out there on the hunt for as we speak? Kyle, what are you looking for? What are you hunting for these days?
Well, I guess this is the part where I get fully into that thing I teased.
Yes.
So, like I said, I was at this con not long ago, and I just got speaking to this guy who was running his booth, and I said, you know what, enough is enough. He's got a lot of stuff here that I've always wanted to own. So I brought some more stuff for show and tell. I'll describe it so that people can look it up. But this...
I'm quite excited about it. Whoa, we framed already.
Framed already. So yeah, I mean, you guys talked about this on your latest episode. Yes. I just listened to Grav's question. I'm like, yeah, this is the thing that I'm doing right now. So this is X-Men issue 137. This has always been one of my favorite covers of all time.
Oh, man.
I got a great deal on this. I got actually a great deal on a whole bunch of things. So I got this one, X-Men 157, another cover that I just adore.
Jean Grey Phoenix. Nice.
Oh, Troy, you're going to love this.
Uh-oh.
Amazing Spider-Man, number 53.
Kyle, man, that's crazy. What?
Yeah, and again, like in awful condition, but that's
Oh.
just it's so far like beyond the point for me.
Yeah,
Like just look at that vintage cover. Look
that
at
is
that.
incredible.
Doc Ock in the
Oh
background.
my
That's awesome.
god.
That's,
Epic.
Doc Ock Nuff said is what it says at the
Yes.
bottom. It like how much more Marvel does it get?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And like something I've already had in my collection for a while. Fantastic Four is 600, a John Romita
Oh,
variant cover.
that's my dude, John Romano on that art. Oh, it looks good, Kyle. Damn.
So this is something I've been doing for a while because last summer we painted our basement, and I've really been inching towards converting the basement into sort of this nerd room at my place. But I'm never sure which direction I'm going to take it in. Am I going to get all my toys out, display everything? But I have to go buy all kinds of furniture for that. So I go, whatever. So I've been focusing on buying these frames, and I think what I'm going to do is just put some of my favorite comic books all over the walls,
Nice.
which is what I'm doing. So I have another 6 or 7 empty frames, and I've been going through this very judicious process of looking through all my old comics and my new ones, because there's some great covers there too, and just which ones do I really want up on the wall. And that's sort of what I'm doing now, because I'll be honest, and Corey sort of spoke about this on our pod. When I was talking with this guy and buying these old vintage issues, it felt really good.
Nice. Yes.
There's something very, very, like, I know how hokey these old comics are, but there's something about the old covers that just gets me. Another one I picked
100%.
up. Look at Amazing Spider-Man 136.
Oh, Green Goblin on there. Wow.
And look at this thing I've got with it. I found this at a bazaar a few years ago. This is a UK.
Oh yeah, it's a
publication.
magazine. Like yeah.
It's the same thing. This is amazing. So this is like Super Spider-Man with the superheroes. It's a UK publication from '76, number 185, but it's the equivalent of Amazing Spider-Man number 136. It's fascinating. So that's kind of the process I'm going through now, and I find that I really want to get into collecting vintage comics,
Yes.
which is very dangerous.
Extremely dangerous, but extremely rewarding. I find that if you can, especially if you're not particularly focused on really expensive, like early issues in a run, you can go to a comic sale, local comic sale, or wherever, and spend a whole morning flipping through bins and only spend $20-$30 if you're looking at things that are $2 a pop. And it's a great time. I really enjoy that aspect of vintage comic book collecting. Yeah, you can get into the $100, $200, $400, $500 comic books, but if you kind of stay in that window of things that not a lot of people want, but you find some value in them, you like the cover art, you can really go a long way with a vintage comic book collection.
Yeah, and I got an insane deal on like the books I just showed you guys. I paid well under $100
Wow.
for all of them.
Wow.
Well under. It was I couldn't believe it. And Corey was like, it was nice seeing you that giddy. And it's true. Like I've never, like in the last several years, no matter Star Wars is my thing, but I've never been that excited collecting Star Wars as I was that day buying vintage comics. So that will be something I look at in the future for sure. And on the Star Wars front, I'm not saying I'm going to double down on the 3 3/4 figures. I'll buy the ones that look cool. But I'm also really going to look harder at the vintage collection. I've ordered the first wave of 6 that will be arriving any day now. I just forget looking on the pegs. I just ordered all 6 from an indie store, so I know that they'll show up in a nice sturdy box, minty fresh, ready to go. So I'm going to look at that. That packaging is just so nice to look at. They'll display super well. So that will be sort of my focus. It will be the vintage collection, and it will be vintage comics.
Nice.
What are you doing these
Can't go
days,
wrong
Troy?
with
What
that,
are you
man.
what are you chasing? What are you hunting?
Well, I kind of went over the Hot Toy stuff, obviously. So I got Anakin coming up. I'm going after that Obi-Wan, and then Vader. And then I'm still trying to narrow down the Marvel Legends stuff. But back to the comics, I'm going to be trying to focus on completing a little bit more of some Pre-New 52 Batman run that I really like. I'm going back to a couple older runs to a Spider-Man, so I really want to complete that issues. It's gonna be tough. I'm gonna try and go from 300 to 400 because I got everything else from there recent. So I got 500 going up to 800 at the end of this month. So I really want to fill that gap. And each year, really just try and fulfill more and more of those comic book runs, basically. Black Series, I'll stay strong with that. I'm always going to collect the Black Series stuff. I'm done with the Elite stuff, and I'm done with the Diamond Select stuff. So really, it's just each year I feel I'm just narrowing down more and more my focus of figures and comic books, really. So
Nice.
pretty simple, I'd say. Yeah.
Nice. Carlos, what's that next Lego set? What's that next Poe you're chasing?
I'm really, really not sure what I'm gonna spring for. I think that the new X-wing is something that I'm gonna get. And I like the idea of the throne room. But I'm honestly really not too sure. If it was up to me, I'd get a couple of small sets and keep building up my VIP points, and then maybe crack open the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon
Nice.
for this year. I mean, that's what I'm hesitating between, but I'm definitely going to get that X-wing, and we'll see from there. And hopefully we get some cooler stuff later on in the year and at the beginning of the new year.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I got my eyes on that Millennium Falcon, that solo Millennium Falcon. That's gonna be my next Lego piece. Just gotta wait for the right price point to hit. And then, like you, Troy, I'm chasing this Black Series. Now I'm looking at here. We had the Solo Wave announced, and then subsequently at New York Toy Fair they did announce like the Gamorrean Guard that's coming out. We've got the Hoth Leia. There's this gorgeous Mud Trooper as well. I'm a big Trooper collector. And the Zuckuss completing out that Empire Strikes Out Bounty Hunter wave. So
Right.
I'll have every one of those bounty hunters from Empire kind of in Black Series form. So that's going to be my big concentration going forward. And like you guys, I'm looking at vintage comic books again. I've got quite a substantial Captain America and Avengers collection. Like you, Troy, I'm chasing that 200 to 300 for Avengers. I'm about a third of the way there or so. And I've got kind of this big range of other, in the hundreds and upwards of 300 and that. But I want to fill in some of that, get back to the comic shows, kind of some of the local ones, and really stop flipping through those long boxes again, because I do quite enjoy that. And lastly, my big commitment at the start of the year was to get at least 10 vintage Star Wars action figures. So I knocked 3 off a couple weeks ago. I got the Medical Droid, I got Snaggletooth, and I got Admiral Akbar. All loose, bit beat up. That's kind of how I like them. But going forward here, I got 7 more to get before the end of the year. And then my last thing of new stuff is that Dr. Aphra from the Vintage Collection.
Ooh.
That's the one in that line I'm actually going to pick up. I'm going to avoid that line. I'm kind of stepping back from the 3 3/4 inch, but I need that Dr. Aphra. That's going to be the one figure that I'm truly going to be keeping my eyes out for, hunting for, looking really hard, because I think it's going to be probably the most difficult figure, or one of the most difficult figures to find on the pegs this year. And Kyle, I'm super jealous that you got one coming in just a few short days.
I don't know if I'll ever see Afra.
I'm really nervous right now that I'm going to have to go to eBay.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised they didn't do that in a 6-inch scale. Like, do you think they ever will down the future, or?
I don't know. Like, if they go back to kind of this fan voting again for a 6-inch, they focus it seemingly on the Vintage Collection to try to give it a bit of a boost, because the Black Series sells really no matter what. You know, we had kind of the Legend Series with Janus Solo. Shout out to TumblingSaber for that one, for the Powerful Friends giveaway. I've never seen that one on the pegs. But you got the Revan, and then we also got Sabine from that as well. It'd be nice to see Aphra in that 6-inch wave. I'd really, really love that. Or some other comic book characters. I don't know. Something a little different.
Dash Rendar. I wish.
Throwbacks.
BT and 000.
Oh, yes. They did do a, I think it's SH Figure Arts, or one of them, Artifacts. They did a BT 000. I think it was a Celebration exclusive. Or a con exclusive.
Oh, that's right. I did see that.
Yeah, beautiful.
That was from the Orlando,
yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah. So
that was nice.
Anyways, gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Now, just to kind of give you guys a bit of impression of how we're going to take this forward is, like we mentioned at the top, we're going to try to do this at least once a quarter. This was kind of an introduction to each of our individual collections, how we collect, what we collect. And kind of going forward, we're going to focus in on kind of our current collecting, what we're doing, and then every episode we're going to try to do maybe a bit more of a focus on some particular aspect of collecting. Now, whether that's comics or something to that effect, Legos in a bit more detail, and just guys kind of have an opportunity to to listen, to maybe join in on the conversation here. If you got any emails or any collecting information you want or a story you want to share, you can always email us at thenerdrm@gmail.com. You can email the guys over at TumblingSaber, and we can kind of bring that together and have maybe a bit more of a holistic discussion around what you guys are doing as well. So before we sign off, where can we find everyone? I'm going to shoot it to you first, Carlos.
You guys can find me on Twitter at ccandidomusic or at my website, carloscandidomusic.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Carlos Candido.
Why don't you plug that Patreon, man?
Yeah, the Patreon. I launched it and then paused it because I don't have the actual computer to work on the stuff that I need to do. So it probably will be relaunched, hopefully by July.
Brilliant.
We're looking to go back live in July. I can't guarantee that right now, but that's the plan. So yeah, check that out as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Kyle.
You can find me at TumblingSaber on Twitter and also on Instagram. And we also have our closed Facebook group, which I invite anybody and everybody who likes to geek out about Star Wars to come hang out in there. It's a closed little community, and we just nerd out all day long. It's been pretty bumping lately. So
Yeah,
come check that out. And really, that's about it. I mean, we have our Powerful Friends community. We've got a couple dozen people in there, and we're ever so close to our goal of 30 patrons. So if you want a lot more podcasting content, you can come check us out at patreon.com/TumblingSaber and join the community for just a couple of bucks per month, or the equivalent of a bad cup of coffee, just one awful cup of coffee a month. Put that aside and come hop on.
Hey, avoid one of those really not great 3 3/4-inch action figures, maybe that Zuckus or something, and you can get yourself a ton of podcasting content, because I have to give a shout out to you guys. It's absolutely brilliant. I love your Patreon exclusive shows. Sit the Servers, that's my Friday show. Absolutely love it. The stuff you're doing over at TumblingSaber is brilliant, so make sure to go check these guys out. Lastly, Troy, my dude, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, man. Always at Twitter. It's going down at TroyTheBoy87. Lots of fun stuff always going on. I'm always retweeting everybody's stuff. And, man, it's like a party, especially Fridays. Fridays, a lot of stuff goes down, it seems. So
yeah,
follow me there.
Ton of fun. And you guys can find me at the NerdRM on Twitter. You can look us up on our Facebook, the NerdRoom Podcast, YouTube as well. And you can hit us up at thenerdroom.net. And as a conglomerate, we are both podcasts are part of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network. You can check us out at StarWarsCommonwealth.com. That's where there 9 of us now, podcasts. You can find all the content being posted there every single week. There's a new podcast that drops from one of the podcasts each and every day of the week, so you get your fill of Star Wars and Star Wars adjacent stuff. You get a little bit more of that from us, but it's a great place to be, so make sure you join up with that community and kind of partake and get some questions in to all the guys. And shout out to Rob Wade, who just purchased TSW, so he's venturing in. So there's a lot of really great stuff coming up here with the Star Wars Commonwealth, so make sure you check all of that out. It's been an absolute blast, guys, talking collecting. I can't wait to do this sometime soon. We'll be getting an episode out to you guys probably within the summertime at some point, and we'll see how this is received, and maybe we can do this with a bit more frequency, depending if we can sync our schedules up and how the pegs are looking here in the summer. I'm a little worried, but I do have confidence that Hasbro is going to nail us here and just keep weighing on that wallet. So until next time, guys, for the Commonwealth Comics and Collecting, I'm Tim.
I'm Troy.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Carlos.
And thank you for joining us this month. We will see you in a few.